The finale of the Reefscape season is upon us. 600 teams from a pool of like 3,200 that competed this year will battle it out at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston later this week. Strategies, I think week 6 showed us the pinnacle of how this game is going to be played heading into Worlds. And obviously, in a game where you win by outscoring your opponent, the big strategy is going to be outscoring your opponent. Going into eliminations, Robo Replay had some solid analysis on this. The top alliances will run 2 offensive bots with 1 defensive bot because the high-powered offenses are going to be able to just tandem the reef, tandem the barge, have someone else, maybe putting up some algae shots, maybe putting up some reef shots, but mainly going over, disrupting a coral station because defense is going to win championships. The lower seeds in these divisions, they are going to possibly run 3 offensive bots just to keep up with the scoring. But this is Worlds we are talking about. Cream of the crop, shop in the dream. Now I got a crop full of cream. So teams are going to be able to hold their own. Guessing alliances is a bit tough because of the cycle strats that teams have chosen. Some are ground feeders, some are station feeders, some are ground feeders but still cycle from the station. So that's going to come into play for alliance selection. Also, algae versus reef. We've seen plenty of high offenses be tube only. Gotta diversify your bonds a bit. Some of the top teams don't mind cycling algae while their first pick goes after the tube because everyone's filling up the reef. It's gonna come down to algae and trough scoring. It's gonna come down to auto, and the end game gonna be very important. How fast can you score at the reef to make it back to get a deep climb? With a higher emphasis on algae scoring, we'll probably see algae stealing. We saw it a bit in week 6. Now, teams are definitely going to just be all offense because when it comes down to it, the only stat that matters is your wins and losses. But quals matches, ranking points go burr. First did update the threshold to get some of these RPs. Now, auto, no changes, and auto ranking points shouldn't be a problem. All these teams at Worlds, barring something drastic, knocking on wood, should be able to at least move forward. The 5 tube a level has been increased to 7 tube per level, so cooperation is also going to be a huge thing. And along with that, algae stealing, we'll probably see a rise of the forced co-op that I've been loving to watch throughout the season. And this is to thin the pack going into those elims because this is Worlds we're talking about. Worlds is just an insanely high level of play. Same thing with the end game. It used to be 14 points. Now it's 16 points to get the end game ranking point, which means that 1 deep and 1 park is not gonna cut it. 2 deep does sound like the way to go with the 3rd robot on a quals alliance. Still going for the reef, making sure that reef RP's good to go because RP's gonna go burr. Again, a lot of teams concerned about the wins and losses. You also have to be concerned about the ranking points because ranking points, when you're gonna deal with some teams that aren't gonna face each other possibly, and they're both, 10-0, gonna come down to ranking points. So let's get into some of these teams I got my eyes on. We're going field by field in alphabetical order because it's just easy that way. My notes were a jumbled mess before that. Archimedes, gotta look at 2481, the Robo Tiers. They're ranked number 11 in the world in terms of offense because that vending machine bot go crazy. Don't have to worry about jockeying your chassis to get in position. Get in position, with the claw. They won the Arkansas and Central Illinois regionals and are on undefeated alert. 34 matches, 34 wins. I could see them be the 1 seed out of that, but it would be a matter of who to choose. We got 604 Quicksilver. They won the Pinnacles, solid tube score, solid endgame. But how about 4270, the Crusader? Winners at the Canadian Pacific Regional, the Hawaii Regional, and East Bay Regional. 42-5-1 on the season, including 30-1 at their last 2 regionals. How about 987 High Rollers, 72 ranks, still won Utah and Las Vegas. Very solid offense. But how about Argos? Sure, they're ranked 105 in the world, but they won Central Missouri and Central Illinois. Central Illinois winning with the Robo-Tiers had very good synergy with them in that win. And that also saves on some of that pre-scouting that I'm sure teams are doing because they already competed together, won a regional together. That might be the matchup there. Now, Curie's going to be an interesting field to watch. Number 1 in terms of expected point average among their top 8 and even among their top 24 teams. You got 74-57, super duper. They say I don't talk about Indiana enough. Here are your Indiana State champions. 48-4, but they are a station feeder. No ground pickup there. Team 27 Rush is there in a season that has the first 5-digit teams. Having the 2-digit teams getting talked about, love it. Don't have to do 10 and then 3 other numbers. 27. Okay, they've been doing this for 30 years. DTE division winners over at States. State semifinalists. They got to twist the arm too. Very fast cycles, very fast climb. But how about 359, the Hawaiian Kids, 25th ranked offense in the world, 4 regional wins. Canpack, Hawaii, AZ North, Idaho, 59-7 on the season. Everyone's looking at Jack in the Bot. This bot is very similar to 2910s. They do have a preference to cycle at the Coral Station despite ground pickup, so that might change at Worlds because ground pickup is just where it's at. They also have a 3-piece top tube and auto. Compare that with Jack in the Bot's Lollipop Auto, as it's been called. You got the 2 top 2L3. They don't have the fastest climb, but they do have one of the more reliable climbs I've seen. And again, 4 regional wins. They are regarded as one of the best teams to have never won a championship. That could change this year. And how about 3005, the Robochargers? Texas State champs. They got that Praying Mantis bot. Proved itself to be a solid algae scorer. 4-piece auto when it works, but 4 pieces, 4 pieces. And they are one of these teams we saw stealing algae, messing with the other teams with some defense. And they got handcuff climb, which was very solid. So maybe 359 and 3005 is going to be where it's at. That might be those teams coming out of Curie. Now, the Daly field is going to be a division of death. We got 1678, the Citrus Circuits, number 8 ranked offense in the world, Pinnacle, Sacramento, and Contra Costa regionals under their belt. 46-5 on the season. How they do it? They got that ground pickup, moves units, solid auto, and in elims they are very tube oriented, but they've proved to be a very good algae bot as well. They got that spin to keep the algae from bouncing out the barge, as well as a taffy puller endgame, very solid deep climb. But also on the field, 2056 OP Robotics, number 3 in the world, Ontario provincial champion, only 1 loss on the season. They were all tube in the playoffs when I first talked about them, but they have proven themselves to be a very solid algae bot in the playoffs as well. Possibly one of the best ground pickups I've seen for a windmill arm bot, and they just slam dunked the tube, slam dunked the algae. They got the taffy puller end game. Add 12 points to all of this. They won 2 district events without the end game because they didn't have the weight. They had the weight, they have the end game now. Regarded as the best team to have never won Worlds. Citrus and OP is going to be your number 1 alliance on the Daly field. But there is still some solid competition coming out of this field. 694 Stipulse on the field, number 19 in the world, as well as 1796 the Robo Taggers. They're ranked number 10 in the world. They're both on Daly, and both of them absolutely steamrolled the state of New York. They won Hudson Valley and the New York City Regional together, and they absolutely blew through the New York City bracket. Light work, no reaction, 200 to 40, 200 to what? So yeah, OP and Citrus, solid teams. Gonna be a solid matchup. Gonna have competition. If it's Citrus and OP's 1 and 2, that's gonna be a matchup. But that leaves Stipulse and Robo Taggers, right? 3 and 4. That's gonna be a matchup. That's gonna be probably the finals matchup for the Daly field, and that is gonna be one to watch. But you know, I say defense wins championships, people, and it's true. And we got not 1, but 3 teams on the Daly field who I called a defensive bot of the week throughout the season. 6911 Sobots, they're on the Daly field. Yeah, offense, schmoffense, okay? They put in their work doing the scouting, seeing how to shut down these teams. I'm sure they're up in the booth right now, looking at all the teams on the Daly field, seeing how they compete. Ground pickup, station pickup, how do we defend against these teams? They're from New York, okay? Very familiar with the Stipulse and the Robo Tigers game. So if they can figure out defense on some of these teams, they might see the playoffs in the Daly field. 3891 Rodeo Robotics, also on the Daly field. They were my week 5 defensive bot for the work they put in at the Colorado Regional. 9301 the Mech Rams, also on Daly. They were my very first defensive bot of the week for the Monterey Regional. So the Daly field, a lot of defense-heavy teams. If they find a way to mess up some of these offenses, we could see the top teams absolutely shut down by some of these defense bots. Now, the Galileo Figaro division is another one that seems to be pretty wide open. I got my eyes on 180 Spam, number 33 in the world. They have a very consistent 4-piece top tube auto. They got a good ground feeder and some speedy super cycles. I've been calling them quick swaps. These swaps are very, very quick, very effective at clearing out the reef, but they do have a problem with the algae sticking the landing some of the times. If they can get a gentler touch for those barge shots, gonna be a difference maker. Again, everyone's filling up the reef. We're gonna see all sorts of full reefs at Worlds. It's gonna come down to that barge. Also looking at Team Scream 45-22. They won the Central Missouri and Oklahoma regionals. Finalists at Sacramento. Reigning world champion. They are a great algae bot, but they can only cycle tube from the station, and that is going to be a problem for them from some defense bots. All the defense bots needs to do: post up at a coral station, don't let them cycle cleanly, just get in their way, and it'll slow their offense way down. Now the hopper field, another top field, I'm looking at 2767 strike force, 36th ranked offense in the world. They did win states. I mean, what is that? I can't do math. That's a fifth of the teams in the world are in Michigan. And not only are they great at tube and algae, they're also great at defense. So this is going to be a winning strategy. You get all your scoring done very easily. Absolutely Travis Hunter it. Beat up on some of these teams at the station when you're done with scoring. Your alliance partners have the scoring on lock. When the top scorer is also a top defense bot, teams are gonna have some problems in the hopper field. 33, the Killer Bees, again, double-digit team, love to get a number out quickly. They're ranked 28th in the world. They are actually better than Strike Force, number 1 in Michigan. Just in terms of offense, we could see a Michigan alliance. Both are station feeders, so that might be, again, easy for teams to play defense on. But if Strike Force can switch it up, play defense, that might be a difference maker there. But how about 9450, the Velocity Raptors, okay? Number 44 in the world, Pacific Northwest District Champion finalist, solid ground pickup, and it's got that twist arm. It's got the twist arm to slam dunk these reef cycles, can put algae when needed. Pacific Northwest team and Dinosaur team, okay? 2 reasons to be biased, but non-biased. Now the Johnson field is stacked. We got 1690 Orbit, who might just repeat titles. We will see full L4 autos. We saw 10 that they and Team Sycamore put up in the finals. Okay, just 2 more. 2 more. We gonna see it. If we got 2 teams putting up 5 tubes in auto, all they gotta do, put up 2 more. That is the possibility for 105 points in auto. And yeah, it might be inconvenient having to go back to the far side of the reef to score some of that top 2. Might as well just go to some of the nearer spots on L3. But consider, it'd be cool as fuck. Orbit is the only team I've seen with a suction claw, at least a reliable suction grip claw, and that grip makes defense impossible. They can handle the tube at any level, easy peasy. They can take care of algae quicker than any team. Absolutely undefendable scorer. Insanely quick with that windmill arm. And they also got the taffy puller for the deep climb. 44-6 on the season. Definitely going to make a deep playoff push, if not win the division at Johnson. But who are they going to do it with? We got 111 Wild Sting, number 65 ranked offense in the world. They won the Northern Lights and Midwest Regional. In terms of Ferris wheel arms, they got the best in the game. Not quite a quick swap. Yes, a super cycle. Very dependable super cycle. Absolutely cooking with that. and it also does ground pickup. And they have the very solid deep climb with the little face hugger gripper that they got on that. 44-14 High Tide is also on Johnson, number 38 ranked offense in the world. 43-3 on the season. Hueneme, Port Ventura County, and Las Vegas regional winners. But how about the Mexican duo? 46-35 Botbusters and 44-03 Peñoles. They both won the Monterey regional together, and Botbusters even won Phantom Lakes out in Wisconsin. Botbusters and Peñoles might be a number 2 or a number 3 seed alliance coming out of Johnson. Might just make a deep playoff push, maybe a finals appearance. Milstein is going to be a dangerous field because we got 118, the Robonauts, at the number 4 ranked offense in the world. 6 banners thus far on a season that matches the season they had last year. 3 for 3 with their district events, plus a win at the Arkansas Regional. Texas State finalists. 96-8 on the season. That might be the number 1 team on Milstein. But we also got 254, the Cheesy Poofs, Q Boss Music. 5-time world champion. They've played this song and dance time and time again. The last time they lost a regional was, 2012? Number 16 in the world. Not top 10, which is shocking, but this is still the Cheesy Poofs. The season they've had thus far reminds me a lot of 2019 when they still made it to the Einstein finals in Houston. So they're always good for a deep playoff push. 118 and 254 could be the number 1 alliance at the Milstein field, but they both seem to just do station intake during auto. So that is going to be something to plan for, making sure they don't run into each other. We did see the Poofs running into the Citrus Circuits at the first finals match in Sacktown. So working that out so you don't leave points off of the board in the first 15 seconds. 118, 254 could go either way. They might not be a matchup. If they are a matchup, would be a dangerous duo, because then you could work in time for a defense bot. But we do have other solid scores, like 59-40 Bread, number 5 ranked offense in the world, 1 loss on the season. Silicon Valley and San Francisco regional winners. They got the 4-piece auto with the ground pickup and the beautiful free throw algae. Not quite super cycles, nonetheless super, and just the gentle touch. And last but certainly not least, literally anything but least, Newton is the field of death. We got the number 1 and number 2 ranked teams in the world on Newton. 13-23 Madtown has big bot supremacy. They are in there with the landing gear from a C-17 that they just yoinked, put it on their robot. Twisty arm, ground pickup, very fast, very big, gonna be impossible to defend. Back-to-back Einstein's appearances. They could make it a trifecta, go 3 straight years. Big bot, big end game. Gonna be tough to defend, especially with who they got with them. 2910 Jack in the Bot. Always love to see a P&W team with the international spotlight on them. Number 2 in the world. With Madtown, that's the number 1 alliance. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because we've seen Jack and the Bot at their district championship not afraid to tackle that algae, go to hell and back to get that algae into the barge, and then go for the tube. They're gonna be an algae stealer at Worlds, believe you me. Not to mention the lollipop auto that won't interfere with other 4 or 5 piece autos. But the biggest thing is they sport the fastest climb in the world. So that means they will score tube until there's 3 seconds left, go over to the barge, and be in the air before the buzzer sounds. That is your number 1 alliance for the Newton field. And that is your world champions, Madtown and Jack in the Bot. But that is not to discount other teams on Newton. 1778, chill, chill, chill. You don't have to say out, 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 okay? Ranked 14th in the world. They're also on Newton. A Jack in the Bot and Chill Out Alliance get a PNW thing going. But both of Chill Out's wins were with bare metal. They only faced off against Jack in the Bot at the district championship and went 0-3 against Jack in the Bot. But that's still going to be a top team. Great ground pickup, great slam dunk arm. Could be a 2 or 3 seed coming out of that field. How about 5468 Chaos Theory? Ranked 47th in the world. Finalists at Sundome, won the Wilsonville district event, and were finalists at Canadian Pacific. The Robo Wranglers are there. Robo Wranglers are the Robo Wranglers. Texas State finalists with 118. 868 Tech Hounds, they're also on Newton. 23 ranked offense in the world. And you say I don't talk about Indiana enough. Indiana State champions. The only issue I do see from them is they just do not have a ground feeder that is going to let defensive bots feast on them, block off a Coral Station. 422 MechTech Dragons on Newton, number 15 ranked offense in the world, won the Cheesecake District. 2974 Walton Robotics were Peachtree finalists. They're out on Newton. But how about the Highlanders? They are more on algae clearer and not algae scorers. So if they want to, impress teams, show they can be barge bot number 1, alliance captain, maybe even alliance partner, works on the reef. They take care of the barge. Won the Colorado Regional. They are 26-6 on the season. But those googly eyes gonna go far. And there you go, my world's predictions, at least some of the teams I'm looking for. Let me know who y'all think are gonna go on runs at Worlds, because there's so many teams. Who do you think is gonna be an upset? Who do you think is gonna go on a surprise run? And who do you think is going to be your champion for the Reefscape season? This is it. This is how it ends. I will see you after Worlds to talk about the division winners and your new world champions. So until then, hope you have fun. Stay safe. If you're at Worlds, hi from not in Houston. I'm be there. That's far to fly. But hope you enjoy. Stay hydrated, okay? It is springtime in Texas. It is gonna be a bazillion degrees. You're gonna be in a convention center with like 10,000 people. You stay hydrated. You're gonna be walking a lot. Look at me. Stay hydrated. Until my next video, remember, gracious in victory, professional in defeat. Amen.
3173 attempting to do the same, and here comes Ozone Robotics. All 3 Red Alliance robots swinging in the breeze. Blue Alliance has done the same. It is a double triple.